Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. Today we're going to be answering a question which pops up a lot in social media and some of the headlines I've been reading this week, which is Chile going to nationalize the copper and lithium industry? Big question. I don't have the answers, but I know someone who does. So we're joined today by Alex Black from Rio2. Alex, how are you, sir?
Great, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Well, like I say, I'm seeing headlines. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing it in the mining press, and it's a thing that just doesn't go away. We've been talking about it for the last year or so. We've spoken to lots of people in country about it who made assurances to us. But it's the Constitution is being rewritten, and it seems, from looking from the outside, that they are going to nationalize the copper and lithium industry. Is that true?
No, I don't think so. And I've seen the same sort of commentary as you've seen in social media, etc. So I think this is a good opportunity for me to just outline this whole constitutional reform process that's going on in Chile. And, you know, this is not me, mining guy, biased because I'm doing business there. I've got feedback from my independent legal counsel in Chile, a very good firm called Rio2 Limited. They are very good in the country from a mining perspective, and they've helped me clarify exactly what this process is that the country is going through. So what I'd like to do is just quickly talk through that.
Sure. Yeah. And
then we can talk about the instances of you know, false reporting in respect to what's going on. So with your permission, can I go ahead and do that?
Yeah, please do. I'm going to be taking notes.
Okay, so all this started back in October of 2019. As people will remember, there was big social unrest in Chile. There were protests going on. There was infrastructure, public infrastructure, etc., being burnt, subway stations, etc. And it was a big uprising against the Piñera government, and also against the, I guess, people feeling that they weren't getting heard or weren't getting, you know, the welfare, the education, and the medical, I guess, support from the government. And so that social unrest was met with an agreement the next month in November 2019 for peace and also for a new constitution. So then the government sat down with the various bodies that were active on this front and came up with Constitution Convention limits. And so the way the Constitution works is it's got a membership of 155 people. I'll go through the election of that in a minute. There's a voting quorum of 2/3. So everything that gets passed in the Constitutional Convention needs 2/3 vote from that 155 membership. It has a defined term. It was supposed to stop or be completed in April of 2022. It started in July 2021, supposed to be completed 9 months later, but there was one opportunity to extend it by 3 months, which has happened. And now the constitutional process will run until the 4th of July this year. That's it. There's no more extensions, no more timeframes, you know, on top of that. And remembering, this has got nothing to do with the government. This is an independent body made up of 155 members, some of which are not tied to political parties at all. And that was quite an interesting outcome of the election of the 155 members. So there's predefined limits for the convention. Those limits are, you've got to respect the Republic of Chile, and the norms of the Republic of Chile. You've got to respect democracy. You've got to respect the rule of law. You've got to respect existing international treaties. So they're all the limits that have been applied to this convention that is going on now. Once approved, if the constitutional reform is approved, then the convention will come to an end. It will be dissolved, right? Well, actually, it's when it's tabled. So when it's tabled, and I'll talk about when it's going to be tabled, and voted upon, then the Constitutional Committee is dissolved and it goes away and hands over the Constitution to the government. So in October 2020, there was a vote in Chile, which is a plebiscite, right? So referendum for a new constitution and for the Constitutional Convention. And in both cases, the vote was about 78, 79%. So, it was well received. 7.5 million people voted. Approximately 50% of the electoral roll were made up of those 7.5 million people that voted. And that has been the highest participation ratio of any public election ever in Chile. So that was the most attended election ever in Chile. So that's how important people think this whole process is about, the people of Chile. So in April 2021, the convention started, and as I said, it had a 9-month. In April 2021, but they elected 155 members to the convention, similar to the congressional election process that happens in Chile. There were various groups, but what were additional limits to the way this membership was chosen was gender parity. So there's almost an even mix of women and men. 17 members had to be Indigenous people, so that's happened. And non-political parties could have representation or members represented in the commission, which has happened as well. And there's a big percentage of those that are not tied to any political party. So once the 155 were elected, 7 committees were set up, right? Subcommittees within the convention. One was to do with the political system. One was to do with principles of democracy, nationality, citizenship. Another one was form of state, which meant, how you deal with centralisation, decentralisation, and equality. Another one was to do with fundamental rights. Another one in respect to environment. Another one in respect to justice systems. And another one in respect to knowledge systems, science, technology, culture, art, and heritage. So within that 155-member forum or committee, there's these 7 subcommittees, okay? And if anybody's interested and wants to have some fun, there's a live channel, obviously in Chile, where you can watch every day, for the whole time the convention is in session. Or you can go to a website, which is www.chileconvention.cl, and convention is spelled CONVENCION, which is the Spanish spelling for convention.cl, and you can sit there and you can watch it. And it's quite funny, actually. There's some really interesting things. The other day, and apparently I wasn't watching, but somebody told me that the whole session and where they're sitting was filled with pineapples. Right?
Why?
It was just a vision of massive pineapples. Now, I don't know why, but this is the sort of thing that goes on in those sessions. Also, citizens can submit motions backed by 15,000 signatures. So anybody out in the street can say, I think this should be looked at by the convention. As long as they get 15,000 signatures, they can present their motion to the convention. There's been 1,000 motions from citizens in Chile submitted, but only 7 have reached 15,000 signatures. So only 7 have made the convention. So there's a system going on. It's just not people, firing from the hip and picking things out of the sky and saying, there's a process going on. Once the new constitution has been agreed, right, remember, by 2/3 vote in the main body, the 155-member body, a referendum will be held 60 days later. So the convention goes, there's our new constitution, and they're starting from scratch, not using the old one as a base. It's a blank piece of paper. That was part of the limits also, was start with a blank piece of paper. They put it on the table, and that'll be on July 4th, and they'll say, okay, please review this. Not the government, the people. Not the government, the people. And the people will have 60 days to look at that, and on the 4th of September of this year, they will vote. And there's only two options in the referendum. It's either approve or disapprove. Now, if it's approved, obviously, it's then taken into the legal system and applied as the new constitution of the country. And if it's disapproved, simply the old constitution remains. That's it, right? So that's coming on the 4th of September. And there's no, well, I like this part of the new constitution, but I don't like that part. No, it's all or nothing. All or nothing. So there's no discussion once it gets tabled. That's it, you vote for it. Now, we don't know whether the people of Chile will actually approve it, right? There's just no indication because nobody knows what's in it yet. But then, you know, as people who follow me on social media, particularly on Twitter, saw my reaction to this the other day.
Well, describe it for people listening. For people listening on podcast, describe what that is.
So this is a mining journal extract, and the heading is Chile Constitutional Convention votes to nationalise mining, which is incorrect because the Constitution, the convention has not voted to nationalise mining. What has happened is the environmental, and it says it here in small fine print, which nobody reads, but it says that the Chile's Environmental Commission, the little subcommittee, has tabled that with the bigger membership, right? And it's not been accepted, it's just been tabled, right? Now I can tell you, and I'm going to show you something else, is an extract of all the things that have been, all the motions or articles, as they call them, that have been tabled by the environmental group or the environmental committee to the main committee. And there's 38. This happened prior to this whole thing about nationalisation. 38 articles, and only 6 got accepted to be considered by the convention. Right? Only 6 out of 38. Now, why is that? The environmental committee of this convention is, as is described by my legal counsel, is probably far left of left, the leftist you can be, and made up of people between the ages of 30 and 40 who have no experience whatsoever in anything, let alone probably business or anything like that. And they're just very radical. So they're tabling very radical, as I mentioned, articles, but they're not all getting accepted. In fact, a very small percentage of them are getting accepted by the main convention. Now, they will table this recommendation or article that says that they would like to see the mining industry in total nationalised. The expectation is that will not be accepted. That's the expectation, right? So nothing has happened in Chile to the extent of nationalisation of the mining industry. And once again, you know, another editorial, which is from mining.com, Chile a step closer to nationalising copper and lithium. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's a once again, a submission by the Environmental Committee to the convention to have that happen. Hasn't been accepted, right? Hasn't been accepted. And it needs to be accepted by 2/3 or better quorum of that 155 member convention. So, you know, I'm just trying to put in place. I don't know what the result of the the constitutional reforms that are going to be tabled are going to be. I don't even know, and I don't think anybody else knows whether they'll ever be accepted by the general public in Chile. But if they are to be accepted by the general public in Chile, they've got to be sensible, right? They've got to be sensible. I think, Chileans are not stupid people. And in fact, since this convention started, there's been a complete, because of all the shenanigans going on in the convention, as I talked about the pineapples and other things, there's less and less and less interest by the population to what's going on in this convention, because they see it as a bit of a circus, right? But anyway, the challenge is for the convention to put something on the table that makes sense. And the other thing is, there's no body in that constitutional convention who has any experience in drafting up a constitution. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that document looks like. As I said to my lawyer, it might be something that a 15-year-old might put on a piece of paper and submit as a thesis for, an essay or something that they have to write for English or something.
It seems extraordinary that one, as you say, if no one's got the experience of writing up a constitution, I mean, they're rarely written up, so it may explain why. But if you've got to start from a blank sheet of paper with making no reference to what's gone on before, you either make it really, really simple for people to understand and there's a lot left out, because the other, or you put it in gruesome detail. But I suspect it'll be the former. If people on the 4th of September have to vote on this one way or the other, it's basically yes or no, we accept or we don't accept. Trying to get everyone in the room to agree to all aspects of everything that's on the page, it sounds like a bit of a mountain to climb to me. But what do you know what the split needs to be? Is it 51 votes wins?
In the referendum?
Yeah.
No, it's majority. So it's 50 plus 1.
50 plus 1. Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting in itself.
Now, let me also say, just let me clarify too, once again, I received a tweet from somebody the other day and said the fact that the government from Chile is even considering to nationalise copper is a horrible indication. The government's not even involved in this process. The government's going to be sworn in tomorrow, March 11. Boric is going to be the new president of Chile. Right? He's got nothing to do with this constitutional reform. So the government of Chile is not involved. Please understand that, people that are out there who are looking to invest or maybe invested in Chile, the government's not involved. They will apply whatever the people decide, right? And the other thing is, if we look at the mining.com editorial that was in social media yesterday, they then referred to the higher royalties and talked about this tax increase, that's been proposed. Now, what's happened there, and I'm going to finish on this, what's happened there is that some members of Congress tabled a proposal for mining taxes to go up in Chile. And it was ridiculous because it was, like 80% increase, to 80%. It was just punitive sort of a raise in the taxes. Now, that's gone nowhere. That's still in Congress. That's revolving around Congress. And eventually Congress will say, this is what we think could happen. And they will put that forward. Now, in Chile, there's a 2-tiered level of government. There's Congress and Senate. In Peru, we don't have that. We have Congress, which is a debacle in Peru. I mean, Peru's a basket case right now from a political perspective. But anyway, we just have a Congress here, but they have Congress plus Senate. So this has to go to the Senate if taxes are going to be increased. And the Senate is the balancing act of any of these things seeing the light of day in a ridiculous format, right? So there's going to be a lot of argy-bargy in respect to, how high are we going to raise these taxes? Are we just going to, add additional royalty? There'll be something, right? But it's not going to be crazy like this. But unfortunately, the press like to sensationalize this. And when I asked the person who wrote the editorial in the mining journal, and I said, where did you get this from? And they said, from media inside Chile. And I said, and I asked my legal counsel, and they said, media in Chile is predominantly very right-wing. And they're trying to scare the populace of Chile by putting out things like the Constitution is, the Constitutional Convention is going to vote to nationalise mining. Reason why? They want the people in Chile to go, well, shit, that's not what we want. We need an engine room for this country, which is mining, to continue to generate revenue for, our welfare programs and our education and our health programs, because if we don't have that, we don't have anything, right? So, and we need foreign investment. So that's what's happening. And unfortunately, the foreign press is just going, oh yeah, cut and paste, and this is what's happening in Chile. It's not. So all I can say is, please do your due diligence when you see these editorials and you think they look crazy, because in most cases they will be crazy. Ask around. I'm happy to put people in touch with my legal counsel, because they don't have to talk to me and say, well, Alex, of course, Alex is going to say Chile is a wonderful place to do business. No, I don't even know what the result of this is going to be. So, I have to take whatever comes, but at least tamper down your excitement about what's going on. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Alex, I appreciate you being sort of spokesman for a lot of the companies operating, explorers, developers, and even the producers in Chile. It's an important business, it's an important revenue stream for the Chilean government and peoples. Well said, and I appreciate you breaking it down like that. We'll probably ask the same question of other companies operating there and see what they can tell us. I know you've been kindly helped us in the past speak to some of the mining industry, some of the legal people and journalists out there, and they seem to confirm your view of what the potential outcome should be. It'll be sort of in line with other mining jurisdictions around the world, it seems to us. But look, we'll wait and see. 4th of July is the big day that we're looking for, and then 4th of September, we'll know a little bit more. What's that doing for your business? Does that mean you're sitting there treading water?
Business as usual. Business as usual. Remembering, Boric gets sworn in tomorrow, the new president. It'll take him a few months to put in his people and do things. We're at the end of our EIA process. We're now waiting for, the authorities, which are not going to change tomorrow, in respect to the review of our EIA, the final review, because there's a review been going on for the last 18 months. So no, it's business as usual, and that's what we're seeing, with our activities in the country. We've started pre-construction activities at Fenix Gold, campsite, plant site, heap leach pad. There's a lot of activity going on. We're fully funded to production, as everybody knows. And, the next bit of news will be, guess what? We got our EIA approved. I just don't know when that's going to be. Originally guided end of Q1. We're near the end of Q1. I don't know if it's going to be the end of Q1. It might, roll into Q2, but out of our control. It's really with the authorities. But as I said to, before in interviews that I've done, there's no red flags. It's just a bureaucratic process, and we just got to go through it. But no, in Chile, it's business as usual. And I think most people doing business in the mining sector there would say that that's what they're experiencing is business as usual.
Right. So Chile, business as usual. Global economy seems to be moving the dial on gold prices. Gold producers and near-term gold producers have been the beneficiary of that. You're not immune to that yourselves. Nice uptick recently. It's exciting times. You seem to be timing it right.
I think from a gold price perspective, yes. Obviously we're going to be impacted by inflation aspects, fuel prices and other things. But, the fuel price was half what it was today, 2 months ago. It could be half in 2 months' time. So, what's it going to be at the beginning of next year when we're producing? I don't know, But we don't have a marginal project in Chile. That's what I keep saying to people. Our AISC is guided at the low thousands, and, gold prices at 2,000. So there's plenty of fat there, depending on what happens to inflation, etc.
Okay, Alex, appreciate your time today. See you soon.
Thanks, Matt.